Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to our Hunters Season 1, Episode 1 Thoughts video. I just finished watching the first episode of the new Amazon Prime original, Hunters, and I'm just going to be sharing my general thoughts on the first episode. I will be getting into some little bits of spoilers for the first episode, but it's nothing too out there that wouldn't, it is a pilot episode. So I watched the first episode of this new one, and this show, Hunters, is about a group who are hunting down Nazis who have been hiding in America. So this takes place in 1977. It says it's based off of some true events, and so this show caught my eye because it had Al Pacino in this, and as well as Jordan Peele as an executive producer, and it's a new Amazon Prime original series. So all these elements had me kind of intrigued, and then you throw in they're hunting down Nazis, and I'm like, oh. All right, okay. So I was pretty I don't want to say excited, but I was intrigued at least enough to check this out. And watching this first episode, it definitely is exactly what the show kind of described itself, exactly what you saw in the trailers for this, which is this group is hunting down Nazis, and these Nazis have a conspiracy in America, going on in America to try and, do Nazi stuff. And so this first episode I thought did a really great job of just introducing you into the story of where you're going to be following this main character of Jonah, whose grandmother dies in this episode, or is murdered in this episode, and he goes on to kind of discover that she was murdered by a Nazi who she had been tracking down, that had been living in America, and so a lot of things ensue from that. And so I thought first of all, this show starts off extremely intensely. In the first few minutes, you just kind of meeting this what seems like a normal American family, and then this one lady has a kind of I don't want to say emotional breakdown, but she has a kind of a moment because she sees this man who she recognizes as a Nazi from the time when she, I guess, was in the prison camp. She seemed a little young to have been, but that timing, it's hard to say. But that being said, so it was kind of the way it starts off right away in this very intense way, and that's the way that I would describe this whole first episode, and what I think is the theme of maybe this whole season, which is intense. Like, it's very just kind of they're not holding anything back, that's for sure. And so like it starts off right with this big this really kind of intense is the word that just keeps sticking out for me. Intense moment with this man who we thought was just a normal American dude, who ends up being a Nazi undercover, who then, again, spoiler, kills his whole family and all the neighbors they had over for the barbecue to keep his cover that he's had for 30 years, because he is the Undersecretary of the United States now. And I was like, okay, so they set a tone right away within the first 5-10 minutes of this first episode of this is what's going to happen. We're not going to hold back from this at all. We're going to give you full on. And I was not expecting. He killed 3 children in that one, at least 3 kids, and it was just like, okay, all right. And so that got me kind of right away. But throughout the rest of this episode, it did kind of have it's very intense. So this show, as much as I like it, I'm not going to be binge watching it right away. This one feels like you got to watch an episode or 2 at a time, because it is a lot of heavy, themes and subjects, particularly focusing around, obviously Nazis and the Jewish people and all that. So that stuff is just very intense. And again, we're going through this journey with the main character Jonah, who's, again, his grandmother had died, and his grandmother was part of this group who was hunting down the Nazis, and Jonah kind of gets introduced to this world via Al Pacino's character, Mr. Offerman, and so I'm really intrigued. This has a very kind of, I like that they're referring to a lot of superhero stuff, because it has a lot of the hero's journey themes, particularly with the Jonah character. You start off with the reluctant hero, and then you have, tragedy strike, and then you got a older mentor in the Merlin-esque realm. So I really like just kind of the way they pretty much started off with this first episode being very by the book hero's journey for this character, and his journey is going to be hunting down Nazis. So I'm definitely intrigued and curious to check out the rest of this first season. But like I said, I'm going to be taking it episode by episode. I'm not going to be binge watching all this weekend, because like I said, it's very intense. There's a lot going on. There's there's certain things that I could have done without. I don't need old lady nudity. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's ageist, but I didn't need it in this episode, to be honest. My brother was in the room. That was obviously not a big deal, but it was just a little bit like, oh, okay, we're being very real in this show and showing things like that. So, but overall, I do really enjoy the style and the feel of this. So, like I said, very intense feel, very kind of raw and real feel about this kind of situation of this guy this kid whose grandmother was murdered, and he trying to kind of make sense of it because he saw it happen in a sense and didn't do anything about it. And so I like that he's this kind of reluctant hero who's kind of a little bit I don't know, doesn't quite have the courage yet to he doesn't have quite that level, but so I really am curious to see. Anyways, so I really enjoyed this first episode and definitely has me intrigued to check out the rest of the season. But what did you guys think of the first episode of Hunters on Amazon Prime? Did you like it? Did you not? Be sure to let me know in the comments below if you'll be planning on checking out this whole first season or not. But thanks again for joining me today. Sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and have a good one.